Hello everyone, welcome to my class related the previous meeting about fixed asset. Now I'm going to describe acquisition fixed asset in local government. Actually, local government can get a fixed asset with many ways. They are come from purchasing, self-constructing, exchanging, and donation. The most important you must know how the government obtain tangible asset that can meet qualification of fixed asset. At first, it must be measured at initial cost. Must be measured at initial cost. But in the situation where the government may obtain this asset in the form of donation or statutory provision on the control of an asset acquired without value, the fixed asset can be measured at the fair value. Okay, let's see the illustration how to get fixed asset by purchasing. The first one is obtaining fixed asset with petty cash. So this transaction must be related to the spending treasurer. Yeah? On July 8, 2019, the treasurer of expenditure received a letter of accountability for the use of fund, commonly known as SPJ. Yeah? SPJ. For purchasing two AC were purchased for 5 million each unit. The cost of sending and installing the two AC unit is 500. For the procurement of this AC, there is a procurement commit fee 500. From this transaction, it can be seen that the acquisition cost of the two AC unit is initial cost. The initial cost consists of purchasing cost and other costs. So you can meet the value of the printer is 11 million. Based on this document, the accounting function record the recognition of fixed asset with the following journals: jurnal RRA dan jurnal LO. Why? Because this transaction come from spending treasurer. Remember that if happen the transaction, or if happen a cash transaction or jurnal RRA, it will be follow jurnal LO, because when the transaction come from budget document or APBD, it must be related to jurnal LRA and jurnal LO. So in this illustration, you can jurnal printer in debits and cash di bendahara pengeluaran in credit, because this transaction come from a spending treasurer. And you can jurnal belanja modal pengadaan printer, that is the same account in APBD in debit, and perubahan sal in the credits. Okay, now we move to the second illustration. Still get the fixed asset by purchase it, but this is obtaining fixed asset with the lump sum payment. Lump sum payment, it means direct to third party that call lump sum. On April 2019, Dinas Pendidikan purchase 10 units of printer with proof of receipt of item, commonly known BAST, berita acara serah terima. For the purchase of 10 unit, 10 million each unit. Based on this document, the accounting function records the recognition of fixed asset with the following journal. With the source document BAST, an accountant shall record journal printer in a debit and utang belanja modal peralatan mesin in a credit. Why? Because in this transaction you cannot see the cash movement, so it must be journal LO, not journal LRA. The continuation from the previous slide, on April 4, 2019, PPKD issue SP2D LS. SP2D is like a document from PPKD who release the transaction from SKPD. The payment for the purchase. Based on this document, the accounting function records the recognition of capital expenditure and debt settlement with the following journal LO and journal RA. Because in this debt, the transaction related to cash movement, so you shall record the journal RRA dan jurnal LO, ya. Jurnal LO you can record the utang belanja modal in a debit, ya. So utang belanja modal now is a 0 because PPKD issue SP2D, no more utang. And then in the credit you can record RK PPKD. This is a reciprocal account, ya. Because the SKPD cannot write cash in kas daerah, so the SKPD shall record RK PPKD. In jurnal RRA, the SKPD shall record belanja modal pengadaan printer. It is the same account in APBD, and in the credit perubahan sal. Okay, the government could get the fixed asset by purchase it with the term payment system. What the important in that situation is evidence of physical progress. A fixed asset must be attached before a fixed asset can be recognized by government. You can see this illustration. Dinas Pendidikan paid a down payment to build a new classroom for 60 million or 30% of the contract value of 200 million, Dinas Pendidikan receive the first term payment request of 100 million with the job progress check document, commonly known BAKF, Berita Acara Kemajuan Fisik, that by 4 June 2019, then on 9 June 2019, the Education Office paid the bill. Yeah, the Education Office received 100 handover of physical work as well as the second term payment request of 100 million with proof of receipt of item. Or you can call BAST, Berita Acara Serah Terima. And then Dinas Pendidikan makes a payment with SP2D LS. Alright, maybe it's a complicated transaction, but you can see one by one. First, in 1 March, Dinas Pendidikan paid a DP, ya. Paid a DP. So, Dinas Pendidikan shall record uang muka. Uang muka for build a new classroom. Uang muka pengadaan ruang kelas baru. For 60 million, ya, 60 million. 60 million is a part of 200 million. Remember, a 60 million is a DP, so 60 million is a part of 200 million. So, because this is in this that you can see a cash movement, so you shall record it jurnal LO and jurnal LRA. In the jurnal RO, you can record uang muka pengadaan ruang kelas baru in the debit and RK PPKD in credit, because uang muka come from kas in Kasda, but SKPD cannot write kas in Kasda, so SKPD write akun resiprokal RK PPKD. And the jurnal LRA, you can record belanja modal pengadaan bangunan gedung. It's similar account in APBD, ya, in the debit, and perubahan sal in the credit. Okay. Next, in 4 June, ya, Dinas Pendidikan receive a handover of physical work, ya, physical work just 50% off, ya, 50% or 100 million from 200 full contract, ya. So Dinas Pendidikan shall record jurnal LO, because in 4 June you cannot see the cash movement journal, just financial journal. But in this situation, just 50% physical progress, so you cannot write the journal, the building. You just write the konstruksi dalam pekerjaan in a debit, and then you can write uang muka in a credit for 30 million. Why 30 million? Because it's 50% from 60 million. And then utang belanja modal for 70 million. Because this is not cash movement journal. And then in 9 June, ya, Dinas Pendidikan paid the bill, ya, paid the bill. So you can write utang in a debit, ya. So utang is 0 now, ya, and RKPPKD in the credit. That is jurnal LO. And then jurnal LRA, belanja modal pengadaan gedung 70 million, and perubahan sal. At 4 June 2000, at 4 September 2019, with BAST, base berita acara serah terima 100%, Dinas Pendidikan shall write the gedung ruang kelas baru because a full physical progress 100%. Gedung ruang kelas baru 2000 million. So nomor konstruksi dalam pengerjaan. Konstruksi dalam pengerjaan is almost done. It changes by gedung ruang kelas baru. So you can record it konstruksi dalam pengerjaan 100 million, and then uang muka pengadaan ruang kelas baru 30 million, and utang belanja modal 70 million. And the last journal with the SP2DLS on 10 September, utang belanja modal right in the debit. So nomor utang RKPPKD in the credit, and then in the jurnal LRA you can write belanja modal pengadaan bangunan gedung 70 million. Ya. Why 70 million? Because you write before belanja modal in uang muka 60 million and belanja modal in 50% progress 70 million. So you just write 70 million in the last one. Now we jump to self-constructed asset by government. This situation usually happen when government involve citizens. Let's see this example. Dinas Pekerjaan Umum is constructing a sewer system with swakelola method. The labor cost is 20 million, building material cost 30 million, and supporting costs such as equipment rental 10 million with the proof of receipt, or known as BAST, by 5 September 2019. Then Dinas Pekerjaan Umum makes a payment with SPWD LS 10 September 2019. That's the acquisition price of the sewer system is 20 million plus 30 million and plus 10 million. So the amount, the value of sewer system is 60 million. You can write the jurnal instalasi saluran pembuangan to utang belanja modal for jurnal LO ya. And when the Dinas Pekerjaan Umum pay the bill, you can write utang belanja modal and RKPPKD for jurnal LO, and belanja modal pengadaan instalasi saluran pembuangan and perubahan sal for jurnal RA. In a practice, the government can get asset from the exchange, or commonly known as Ruslah ya. Ruslah, okay. Let's see this illustration. On 4 March 2019, the local government exchanged office buildings for village land. The acquisition cost of building $1 million with accumulated depreciation 6,300 million. The value of village on land 500 million with proof of receipt of item BAST ya, on 9 March 2019. So in this case, government changed the building to village land, commonly known as Ruslah ya. You can write the journal is tanah in debit 500 million, akumulasi depresiasi 6,300 million, and in the credit you can write the gedung kantor 1 billion, and surplus penjualan gedung bangunan, because they have exchange, they have a surplus from their transaction. So you can write the surplus in the credit, but if the deficit, you can write the deficit in the debit. Okay, if the government get a gift or donation in the form of fixed asset, then home office must be recorded, not branch office. Home office must be recorded that the transaction. Let's see this example. On September 9, 2019, a private company give a building with the fair value of 600 million for use by the local government without any condition with BAST. Journal record by the accounting function in PPKD. In this transaction, gedung in the debit and pendapatan hibah in a credit. So if government get a donation, it shall PPKD record this transaction, not SKPD. Okay, different things in mapping fixed asset in a government is in asset infrastructure. While there is no universally accepted definition of infrastructure asset, this asset usually displays some or all of the following characteristic. They are part of system or network. They are specialized in nature and do not have alternative use. They are immovable and they may be subject to constraint on disposal. Part of some item of fixed asset may require a replacement. Part of infrastructure asset may be get by consolidated asset acquisition. So let's see this illustration. Dinas Pendidikan buys a land area of 500 meter along with building located on the land with an acquisition cost 3,600,000,000. BAST was signed on 5 September. The fair value of the land in the area is 2 million each meter. Meanwhile, this type of building has a fair value 3 billion. Based on this information, the cost of its asset can be calculated. That is, the first one, you must be counted the land, ya. The land area of 500 meter, you can get the initial cost is 900 million, and the building you can get initial cost 2.7 billion, yeah. So the journal created to record the combined purchase transaction is tanah untuk bangunan 900 million and bangunan gedung kantor 2.7 billion. In a credit, utang belanja modal tanah and utang belanja modal gedung. Nah, the continuation of transaction on September 9, 2019, SP2DLS was issued to pay for the purchase of the building and land. The journal created to record the publication of SP2DLS as follow. Utang in a debit, so no more utang. RKPPKD in a credit. And also you can write the journal LRA because the key, if the SKPD get document of SP2D, so it must be cash movement from general cash account, yeah. So you can write a journal LRA, belanja modal pengadaan tanah and belanja modal pengadaan gedung is similar as account in APBD and perubahan sal in credit. Okay, part of some item of fixed asset may require replacement at regularly and interval. For example, a road may need resurfacing every few years. In that situation, commonly known as subsequent expenditure. Expenditure after the initial acquisition of fixed asset that extend the useful life or is likely to provide future economic benefits in the form of capacity, quality of production, or improvement in the performance standard must be added to the carrying value of the asset concerned. Nah, the more popular term to refer to addition of the asset value is capitalization. So the application of capitalization is determined in an entity's accounting policy to be used in determining whether an expenditure should be capitalized or not. Okay, should be capitalized or not based on capitalization threshold. Let's see this illustration. The Office of Education, Dinas Pendidikan ya, renovated the office building so that the useful life of the building increased from 10 years to 15 years with the BAST on 4 October. The renovation active cost is 50 million with SP2DLS payment on 7 October. The capitalization limit in the government accounting policy is 10% of the building acquisition value, while the historical value of the building recorded in the balance sheet is 300. So 50 million is more than 10% of 30,000 ya. So it can be capitalized. You can write in the journal LO and neraca, gedung dan bangunan for 50 million in debit, utang belanja modal, gedung bangunan for 50 million in credit. And then when SP2DLS issue, utang belanja modal, you can write in the debit, so no more utang, and credit, as always, RKPP KD. And then jurnal LRA, because cash movement, belanja modal pengadaan gedung, and perubahan sal for 50 million. You can see the next illustration of capitalization. On 1 October, the Office of Education, Dinas Pendidikan, fixed the rooftop of office building. The renovation active cost to 20 million with a petty cash payment. So 20 million is under 10% of 300 million. Accordingly, the renovation activity doesn't meet the requirement to be capitalized. So the accountant recorded the journal is beban belanja bahan material in the debit, ya, and kas di bendahara pengeluaran in credit. Why kas di bendahara pengeluaran? Because this transaction come from petty cash payment mechanism. And jurnal LRA, because a cash movement, belanja bahan material, same with the account in APBD, and perubahan sal for 20 million. Okay, on this slide, you can see disposal of fixed asset. A fixed asset is eliminated from the balance sheet when it is released or if the asset is permanently terminated and there is no future economic benefit. Termination and disposal of asset can be caused due to destruction, transfers, or other causes such as burning, stolen, and it. The recording of the termination and disposal of fixed asset transaction is made when they have been issued surat keputusan kepala daerah tentang penghapusan barang milik daerah. So accountant can write the disposal of fixed asset when source document is surat keputusan kepala daerah tentang penghapusan barang milik daerah. You can see this illustration. On 30 December 2018, based on surat keputusan kepala daerah tentang penghapusan barang milik daerah, the local government removed one motorcycle because it was badly damaged. The motorcycle was purchased on January 2015 at price of 50 million. The accumulated depreciation up to 30 December 2018 was recorded at 12 million. The journal to record disposal of fixed asset transaction is jurnal LO ya. Akumulasi in the debit and kendaraan bermotor with initial cost ya. Initial cost 15 million. So you have a deficit for this transaction. Defisit penghentian aset peralatan mesin for 3 million in a debit. If you have a surplus from the transaction, you can write in a credit. There is a standard journal for disposal of fixed asset. You can read it ya. Still a standard journal, but in transfer method ya. And then in the loss situation. So if a government lost the asset, you can record the defisit penghentian aset lainnya. And then because the government lost the asset, the government shall record the tagihan tuntutan ganti rugi ya. Tagihan tuntutan ganti rugi and pendapatan tuntutan ganti rugi to responsible because the loss of fixed asset. Okay, you can see the standard journal of fixed asset ya in SKPD and in PPKD. Alright, we move to next slide. The interesting in depreciation is that before the government apply the accrual basis, this is not something that is required because the government assets are not commercial. Yeah. Depreciation is a systematic allocation of depreciable amount of an asset over its useful life. Depreciation is a continuous adjustment of value related to decrease in the capacity of an asset, both decrease in quality, quantity, and value. Decreased capacity occurs because assets are used in an entity operation. Depreciation is carried out by allocating the cost of an asset to a periodic depreciation expense over the useful life of the asset. The red line is land and work in progress ya, tanah dan konstruksi dalam pengerjaan are two types of fixed asset that are not depreciated ya. Okay, depreciable amount is the cost of an asset or other amount substitute for cost less its residual value. The residual value of an asset is the estimated amount that an entity would currently obtain from disposal of the asset after deducting the estimated cost of disposal. If the asset already of the age and in the condition expected at the end of its useful life, and useful life is the period over which an asset is expected to be available for use by an entity. The number of production or similar units expected to be obtained from the asset by an entity. Okay. There are three types of depreciation methods that can be used according to Peraturan Pemerintah Nomor 71 Tahun 2010. That is The first one, straight line method. Depreciation per year is calculated using the following formula in this slide. The illustration, the price of a printer 3.6 million. It is estimated that this printer can be used well for 3 years with ability to print 100 sheets of paper. After the useful life expired, the printer expected to sell for 600. That is estimated residual value. So you can count the depreciation, initial cost less estimated residual value is 3.3 million divided 3 years. So you have 1.1 million each year. Yeah. And the second method is double declining balance method. This method calculates the decrease in value of asset with the formula in this slide. Yeah, 100% divided estimated of the useful life. Continuing the illustration from the previous slide, the amount of depreciation as is follow like this. Yeah, in the last years, the book value less the estimated residual value. Yeah, the book value less the estimated residual value, that is 300. Okay, the last one, the unit production method. The production unit method yields a calculation of the allocation of the amount of periodic depreciation expense that varies depending on the amount of use of fixed asset in production. This method calculates the decrease in the value of asset with the formula initial cost less estimated residual value divided estimated production benefit. By using the same illustration as before with the additional information that the first year printed 50,000 sheets, the second year 30,000 sheets, and the third year 20,000 copy. Then the first year depreciation was 1,650 million. So whatever the method of depreciation, an accountant recorded the journal as beban penyusutan in debit and akumulasi penyusutan in credit. Okay, the financial statement shall disclose for each class of fixed asset recognized in the financial statement. First, the measurement base used for determining the gross carrying amount, and then depreciation. Also, the depreciation method used and the useful life or the depreciation rate used. The gross carrying amount and the accumulated depreciation at the beginning and end of the period, and the reconciliation of the carrying amount at the beginning and end of period showing addition, disposal, acquisition, increase or decrease resulting from revaluation and from impairment loss. So you can see this illustration. Okay, I think that's it for the acquisition fixed asset in the local government. I hope you can understand. See you next week. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.